Yes, you guys, welcome back. I'm Nini FC, this is Blue Lions TV, and tonight, you guys, we beat Aston Villa on penalties and we've gone through to the next round of the Carabao Cup. Wow, what a incredible, amazing penalty to seal the shootout from Reece James. I mean, no backlift at all, the power. I mean, what a penalty to just seal that shootout out. You know, I have to say credits to Aston Villa. They were definitely worthy opponents. They've given us two very difficult games, and you know, tonight we really struggled to open them up at times and create many dangerous opportunities against them. So they definitely deserve credit, and you know, especially credit for that equaliser. I mean, what a cross, what a header. These moments happen in football sometimes, but regardless, you guys, the most important thing is we have gone through to the next round, and wow, there's just like so many talking points from this game. Of course, performances from players like Ruben Loftus Cheek. I know you guys watching, you know that I was gonna get gassed after tonight for sure. For me, you guys, maybe I'm saying this too early. Maybe I am getting a bit too gassed at myself, but it really felt like I saw the old Ruben. It really feels like he could be back. Wow. What? I'm going to speak about him a bit later on, you guys, but today we saw an incredible performance from Reece James, carabao. You know, we saw interesting performances from players like Saul, Hudson-Odoi, etc., but you know, this was definitely a game of many positives in my personal opinion. So hope you guys are happy about us progressing. Smash that like button, of course, get involved in the comments as well. And without wasting any more time, we kick things off and we discuss the team lineup first. Now, we saw a lot of surprising changes, and what I like about the Carabao Cup, and this is why I've always liked this tournament, is that I feel like you see like these Chelsea what if lineups. You know, like what if we saw Ruben playing with Saul with Kansé, for example. Well, today we saw that. What if we saw Hudson in the same team as well? What if we see Mason Mount playing with Ruben? And you know what I'm saying? And I think obviously because you have to rotate, you know, managers give more opportunities. So today we saw Ruben in that midfield with Kansé. Alongside him, Saul as well up front with Ziyech, Timo Werner, and of course we saw Ben Chilwell returning back to the team, and we saw Malang Sarr getting a surprising performance in my personal opinion. But regardless, you guys, you know, I felt like the game in the first half, it didn't really take off like that, but I felt like there were still many interesting developments. We looked quite sinister, I would say, without really probing or creating as much threat. Just like that. What we did see was some, you know, very accomplished, composed pieces of play. In particular from Reece James, you know, some excellent back headers to find Kepa from, you know, positions where other defenders are panicking and looking to fight alongside their man. Chalobah as well, I thought he looked very accomplished throughout the entire game, very composed today. And, you know, as I was saying, why are we going to sign Koundé right now when we have Chalobah who looks hungry and is showing game by game what he brings to the team, which is very important. So yeah, they were very nice touches in that game. Of course, Chilwell's clash with Cash down the left-hand side was an interesting battle too. But it did feel like we weren't bringing that forward threat enough. And you know, for all the good things that our defense and our midfield did quite a lot at times, it did feel like the attack just wasn't matching that same energy. And for me personally, I think it comes down to the fact, and I think this is a reality we have to accept, that Hakim Ziyech is being used out of position. I mean, how he is playing alongside Timo Werner, you know, playing in behind, playing off the ball. This is not this guy's game whatsoever. You know, I felt like watching this game, the reality hit that I wouldn't be surprised if at the end of the season he was potentially sold, only because he doesn't really suit the team from a tactical point of view. Every time Ziyech looked threatening throughout this entire game, first half and second half too, was when he was drifting from that right hand side, you know, in particular when he's playing, you know, combined passes with Hudson-Odoi, when he's combining alongside Mount and Kansé, etc., coming in from that right hand side, cutting inside, taking shots where he looked dangerous, playing people in. It was an interesting performance. You know, he showed his quality because this is an amazing player with amazing talent. We can't get this wrong. You know, in this game today, we saw him play and make 2 assist-worthy passes and through balls in the game. That's the type of creativity that we're not really getting from anyone else. So there is a player in here, but it comes down to the fact that, okay, will we see him maybe adapt quicker to this new role? And can he even do that to begin with? So time will tell with Hakim Ziyech, but I think one player now I want to discuss who really just shone throughout this entire game today for me was one of the standout players, was Ruben Loftus Cheek, you guys. Wow. Real talk, man. I was feeling that energy from the 18-19 season. I'm not lying to you. Like, you know, like when you watch a game and you just have like this certain just confidence in the player where you just know, okay, he's gonna get past his man, he's gonna play that right pass, he's gonna do the right thing. That's the same energy I was feeling for Ruben tonight. You know, it was interesting seeing him play in the middle of a midfield three alongside himself on the left, Catton on the right hand side, and you know, Ruben was really tasked with collecting the ball, receiving from the centre backs. You know, his position was just behind the Aston Villa midfield lines, where we know that Ruben has an incredible half turn, and he demonstrated that time and time again today. And now that he combines his strength with his dribbling ability, you guys, we've seen him just constantly just breaking the lines non-stop with individual plays. And you know, these are the type of individual moments I feel that we lack at times. These are the things that you want to see more as fans. You know, this type of technique, this type of ability, we have it here, but I think that it has to be expressed more. And for me, this is why I'm always going to like players like Loftus Cheek. Great performance today. Some of the dribbles, amazing runs, especially that one in the second half too to find Lukaku. You know, he had the opportunity to potentially seal the game right at the end as well too. And for me, the reason why he looked good is very simple. If you play him in his best position, play him in midfield where he's facing the goal, not when he's playing with his back to goal, you know, play him in a midfield three, because Ruben, you know, his game isn't, you know, like track back 50 yards and win a tackle and then drive the ball forwards. You know, he's not like that. And it's a team game in football. So you have other players in the team that obviously do that role instead. Because when you do that, this is the player you get, a player that brings something, that does something. And now it will be interesting to see how Tuchel does use him, because of course he has used him in the pivot throughout the entire season, but of course during pre-season as well. And obviously he sees something in Ruben he likes, and considering we may see more of a 3-5-2 this season, could we see Ruben getting a spot in the team? Because for me personally, I thought he looked infinitely better than Saul. Saul was very tidy, very safe today, didn't really express or show much what he could do. I felt like he wasn't really, you know, coming deeper enough at times to receive the ball, and you know, finding those holes in the pockets in front of our defence to receive passes and, you know, make the play happen. I'm making these criticisms, but I'm not using this against him. I've said many a time he's going to need a few months. But for me right now, we're seeing a Ruben that for me you have ahead of Saul in the team. So regardless, you guys, I guess the only last notable thing with that first half was Kepa making a very clutch 1v1 save right near the end. And, you know, credit to Kepa, he's looking a lot more confident. And I'm feeling maybe this new Kepa we're seeing, could it be the fact that, okay, you know, this guy's out the limelight? When he first signed, of course, world record fee for a goalkeeper, all, you know, all eyes are on him, spotlights on him. It wouldn't surprise me why, you know, after making one or two mistakes, you're going to be feeling that pressure, and maybe just having Mendy there, you know, allowing Kepa to keep draining and just, you know, maybe rebuilding himself mentally in that sense, has allowed him to come back now. And, you know, we have to admit, we were seeing this too from last season. We have to keep things real. But he has been putting in some good performances, and today, this was one of Kepa's best ever Chelsea performances. In the penalty shootout, he was incredible, making decisive saves as well, coming out, you know, being strong, collecting that ball in the air as well, and playing some nice passes out from the back. So, you know, if Kepa can get more game time in cup competitions and in Europe, that would be a very successful season for him. And, you know, let's give him some credit for coming back and showing his qualities. So regardless, you guys, we move on. Regardless, you guys, we do move on. In the second half, it was Mason Mount that came on for N'Golo Kante. I think it's quite obvious that he is being saved for our afternoon game against Man City. They're both a little bit rusty. Good opportunity in an intense game to, you know, get that match sharpness. You know, I thought Mount's threat was pretty interesting at times. I think the one thing it did do was maybe open up spaces more for Hudson-Odoi down that right-hand side. You know, by him coming on, receiving passes in the pocket, I was seeing a lot more rotational play between him, Ziyech, Mount, and you know, Reece James was getting forward as well too. And you know, we have seen that combination play before. Let's not forget that game last season against Tottenham, where Mount, James and Hudson-Odoi, because of them countless issues with the movement in behind. But and in the second half, you know, credit to the team, we were looking a lot more threatening and a lot more dangerous. I think a pattern we're seeing is that opposition teams use more energy in the first half. They can't maintain that. We're already a very fit, intense team as is, and we just get more spaces to play in. Of course, we get the first goal courtesy of an incredible cross from Reece James to find Timo Werner on the back post. You know, credit to Werner. He scored it, and that's what you want to see him do. So let's hope he can do that a lot more often. But you know, we discussed the equaliser Aston Villa squad at the start of this video. It came against the run of play, but again, it was kind of deserved because they have been a very, you know, worthy opponent in these past 2 games. As the game was closing to an end, we saw Lukaku coming on. It was quite obvious that Tuchel didn't want this game to go to penalties, and he brought some threat, of course, but there wasn't much game time. And I guess the only notable thing was that Ruben, of course, had an opportunity right near the end that didn't go through from a header. Of course, after that, the penalty shootout, we won that, some excellent penalties, Kepa making a decisive save as well too, and, you know, Ashley Young hitting the post as well, and Ben Chilwell doing the same thing. But regardless, you guys, I guess my closing point I want to make to wrap this video up is just discussing Hudson-Odoi. It's an interesting game. When you see Callum, you can see that he's bringing a threat, but it's kind of like there's no climax to the end of that, if you know what I mean. I understand it because Hudson-Odoi is much better on the left-hand sides, and the reason why he can look a bit more one-dimensional on the right-hand side is because the angles just aren't there for him to get past his man. I mean, we know that he likes coming from the left with his right foot cutting inside, you know, the ball's on the outside of his foot. On the right-hand side, he has to come in with his right foot with the ball in his instep. You know, the angles to get past your man and be as dynamic with the type of dribbles he likes to do. You know, in football, it's not as simple as just playing a guy with pace and ability down the flank and then expecting them to just be just like that. You know, as Callum was saying in an earlier interview, you know, he's had to adapt to the demands of, you know, being in both halves all the time. When you're an attacking player, you're just focusing on finding, you know, spaces to arrive in. You know, you're not exerting as much energy compared to being more defensive. So I'm not sure, you know, he wasn't bad today, but it was another game where he wasn't amazing either. And for me, the bottleneck is he is not a wing back. He needs to get game time in his best position, or he has to go. So you guys, on that note, I'm Nini FC. This is Blue Lions CV. I'll catch you guys later for some more videos. Cool.